Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Aliens and Angels podcast. I'm very happy to bring back Michael Estrella, who is the guitarist and composer of the instrumental rock band called Pyramids on Mars. Hard rock, industrial, and metal infused with lead guitar melodies inspired by the violin melodies of Baroque classical composers Bach and Vivaldi. Kevin's latest album, Cosmic Angels, is inspired by his visitations by extraterrestrials. Elements in all of his albums incorporate many things that have been taught to him by these otherworldly visitors, including, but not limited to, telepathic storytelling and the tonal language of the cetaceans and whales. Kevin has been a guest on over 90 UFO radio talk shows describing his UFO and ongoing extraterrestrial experiences. Kevin has always had a passion for UFOs and extraterrestrials. He spent over 20 years researching to understand why they are here, and he wanted to combine his passion of music with raising consciousness and awareness of the UFO and extraterrestrial presence, which has always been his purpose in life. This calling was affirmed on August 21st, 2014, when he had contact with an interdimensional craft of unearthly origin. Since then, Kevin began experiencing many other related incidents like incredible synchronicities, music downloads, symbol downloads through dreams, and as an example, the neck illustrations DNA double helix design on his guitar, and increased telepathy. His musical downloads are discussed in UFO researcher Grant Cameron's book, Tuned in the Paranormal World of Music. Many of Kevin's personal CE5 ET encounters are discussed in Inviting ET, written by Sue Walker. Kevin works for the Pontiel Zetas, who reside at the Sandia Mountains, Albuquerque, New Mexico, helping prepare humanity for official first contact. Kevin is the host of Pyramids on Mars UFO Radio since 2016 on Artist First. He has a large network of friends, colleagues, researchers in the UFO community who are experiencers, starseeds, and Star Nation human hybrids. He now brings their stories to the Artist First Network. All of the links are featured below. I want to thank you in advance for liking, commenting, subscribing, and please do share my content with your friends. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like and hit the subscribe buttons now so you don't forget to do it later. And I'm also happy to announce that YouTube and Rumble channel memberships are now available, so you can receive my books and help to support my channel. So please do become a member. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our honored guest and let's get started. And if you haven't done so already, join us in the live chat. I'd love to see your comments and of course, everything that you add to make this podcast so successful. So here he is. Hi, Kevin. How you doing?
Hi, Karen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay.
Can you hear me? Oops, now he's gone. Okay, Kevin's having some technical issues that are not his fault. So he may be in and out, but we'll do our best. And in between, we'll take questions from the live chat.
Oh. Can you hear me still?
Yep. Yep, I can hear you even better this time, actually.
Oh, good. I had a connection disconnect there.
Well, I told the audience that you might be in and out due to technical difficulties that have nothing to do with you. It's the crazy, unpredictable world of podcasting. So if you get kicked off or whatever, just come back in, and we're just happy to see you. So it's been a while since you've been on the show. For those of you who are interested in learning more about Kevin, please check out the video we did not too long ago on the Aliens and Angels podcast. So today I want to learn a little bit more about Kevin's music and his contact, and I'm just so excited because it's actually a rare treat that I get to meet face to face with other people who have contact, ongoing contact, and also transdimensional contact, which is what basically my experiences are like. So Kevin, welcome to the show, and how are you doing?
I'm doing great. We had a couple of technical difficulties here, but I managed to improvise. So I'm on, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, me too, me too. So, yeah, I had Sue on not too long ago, and she elaborated a little bit more on her story. And of course,
Yeah,
it's impossible to cover everything in even one or two podcasts. So I'm just thrilled to bits that you both can come back. I will eventually probably have you both on, but I thought for now, because there's so much information each one of you has, it would be good to do it separately. So,
yeah,
for those of you who aren't familiar, do you want to just speak a bit as to how you met the Pontiel, and just how did that come about for you? And I know a lot of people are curious about your story, Kevin.
sure. I met the Ponte back in 2016. But I've been an experiencer, since, well, my mission began in the year 2014 when I had an interdimensional craft fly over my house August 21st, 2014. But I knew that I had a particular mission on this timeline, and that was my calling card. And I found out only in their last recent years, the Ponte confirmed that craft that flew over my place was in fact a Ponte ship.
Mhm.
Explained to
So,
me
so you
that
call them
they were
Pontiel.
not the first star nation to discover me. It was the
Mhm.
Jalohu Zetas, who are like 7 feet tall, like the Ponte. Like they look like the Ponte, but they're 7 feet tall. They have been following my family lineage for 250 years. So, and
Wow.
I got that confirmation from Newell when I was visiting Sue 2 years ago. So yeah,
So
so they've been
is that does that indicate that your family has had intergenerational contact, or are you the first one that actually had conscious contact, even though they've been aware of your family for a long time?
I personally don't know many people in my family lineage who have had contact, but the significance is my grandmother had spent a decade doing research on our family lineage, and our family on my mother's side, we are direct descendants of General de Gras, who was instrumental in helping George Washington during the war. He's a French general. So
Mm-hmm.
our family lineage goes all the way back to that. And where the synchronicity was when Newell said, "We've been following your family lineage for 250 years." When I came back from visiting Sue and Otter, and I told my parents about this, I could see the wheels turning in my mom's head. And she pulled out her calculator, and then she said, "Kevin, do you realize General de Gras' most important, significant year was the year 1776? And that's like 3 years off of 250." So it was interesting to get that kind of confirmation. But I'm here for a particular purpose, which is to awaken humanity and prepare people for official first contact. I've been working with the Ponte since 2016, and I work very closely with them. I've been following them on Twitter every single day since 2016, learning more about who they are as people, seeing their tweets, every single tweet that they've been sending out, and copying and teaching teaching who they are to people. So I'm also the host of Pyramids on Mars UFO Radio on the Artist First Network, which we've had at least 500,000 listens to our show, and I've been doing that since 2000, for the last 9 years. But I also have Sue on the show very regularly, so we can give updates in regards to what's happening with the Ponte. But I represent mostly the Ponte, even though I have other star nations who have made contact with me. So, but that's what I do, and I talk about what my reality is and my truth, and teach about who the Ponte are, and about these star nations who are trying to make contact with us to usher in a new world where they're our star brothers are going to be making contact with us. It's going to change everything.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you on that. Now, I just want to check. I've been calling them the Pontil, but you call them the Ponte, right? Is that how to pronounce it?
Yeah, it's Ponte, P''NTI. You're pronouncing Pontel, which is their name of their planet.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you
That's okay.
for setting me straight. The Ponte. Okay. And what I think is so interesting is more and more information's coming out all the time. And well, first I want to ask you, so they have their own Twitter channel, is that right? How do you communicate with them on Twitter?
Well, it's actually the Twitter account is run by Sue Walker. So they, Tilcom approached Sue about this social media experiment because they thought that they could reach a larger audience on Twitter. And so Sue began it, and it really took off. And so, Sue is the telepathic translator for the Ponte. So they telepathically talk to her, and then she communicates their message through to people on Twitter. So if a message comes from Tilcom, the message will come up, and then it'll be like dash Tilcom at the bottom, and that's Tilcom is speaking. Or sometimes Sue will come on and talk to people. Yeah, when people ask different questions, and she can respond herself. But if the Ponte wants to have something to say, then they respond directly, and then she passes on the message.
Very interesting. So as I was saying, a lot of information is coming out all the time. And basically, from what many people are saying is that they have been here for a long time. So it's not like they just arrived from their home world. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about where they live, under the mountain, how long they've been here. So a lot of, I don't know if there's more than one group of ETs. I'm guessing there might be, but there's been evidence for a long time. They live under the water, they live under mountains. They're fairly well established, have been here perhaps even for thousands of years. What's your take on where they live and how long they've been here, and what's their purpose? What are they doing? What are they doing while they're here?
Okay. Well, I know that there's at least 3 or 4 main information stations here on the planet. So the ones that the Ponte operate out of is under the Sandia Mountains in Albuquerque, New Mexico. There's also a base in the Tasman Sea, I think it is. And there's another base somewhere in Europe. And I can't remember where the other 4th one is. But these are the main operations that are, managed by several extraterrestrials, not just the Ponte. So the Ponte themselves, their records on Earth go back, they say 136,000 years that they've been
Oh,
around.
wow.
Yeah. So they've
And
been
how
around
long
for
is their lifespan?
the Ponte can live up to, I think it's 400 years, Earth years. However, that age can be, it's reduced by the amount of time that they spend on other planets that are not their own environment. So those like on Earth, it can reduce their lifespan. But they also have some abilities with their station to maintain a kind of environment that's a little bit more calculated to, like, what they're used to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So would they be born here? Were their parents sent here, or are they coming and going all the time? How does that work?
I don't think they are born here. Um, they go through extensive training before they're allowed to come to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So their training, they can be in school for up to 50 Earth years before
Mm-hmm.
they're ready to come here.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go through training at the Sandia Mountain. So, but their children, I believe, are, they're born and they're, probably on Pontel. They also have establishments throughout other sections. We know that, Drudy here behind me, she actually grew up in a sector in the Pleiades section. I think her parents were like scientists on board a ship, and that's
Mm-hmm.
where she grew up. So they don't all, reside just on the planet Pontel. They maybe have stationed and had different experiences at different other places. So
Mm-hmm.
I know Radar, he was in school on planet Pontel, and Tilcom pulled him out of school because he saw that that Radar had particular qualities that he thought would be very good for public relations here on Earth. So
Mm-hmm.
he's just a very quirky guy with a big personality who, he talks like a surfer, um,
Mm-hmm.
but he also has, he's very smart. He's amazing pilot, and he also, trains the trainees, but he also has this earthly sense of humor. So he's very much, like a really easy person to get along with, or to relate to here on Earth. For
Mm-hmm.
example, give you an idea. When new trainees come, one thing he likes to do is give them bubble gum, but
Mm-hmm.
he won't tell them what to do with it. So he'll have to, they have to kind of figure out what to do with it, and then he's kind of observes from the sidelines, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So um,
That's funny.
yeah, I mean, another thing is, he's come here, he visits here, and he brings the trainees here to my place. And in the last year or so, they started drawing with chalk on my walls. So my place is like chalked up. The walls in the hallway are chalked up with different drawings. There are little fingerprints on the walls, and it just keeps adding to it and adding to it. And I was trying to make sense of what some of these drawings are, because on behind my wall in my bedroom, it kind of looks like some kind of animal. Looks kind of like a head of a horse, but it's got tusks. And I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty cool. I thought maybe it was like a planet, animal from their planet. And then on the other side of my wall, it looks almost like a wild boar. But this summer, when I went to visit Sue and I got to talk to Radar, and she was telepathically talking to him, and I asked him, like in the hallway here, I have two images which look like Nefertiti from Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
almost like Anubis, and they're facing each other, okay,
Mm-hmm.
on this wall. And I was trying to get more information from Radar about the significance of these drawings, because I thought there was some kind of real deep meaning to it. And what was
Mm-hmm.
his response? His response was, I don't know. I just bring them over here and I just stand by and they just draw on the walls. I have no idea what they're drawing.
Mm-hmm.
it's,
Oh,
like,
that's funny.
it's like I was waiting for some deep meaning. Because they
Yeah.
said this
Yeah.
place is going to be studied by scientists, eventually. And he's like, I don't know. They're doodling. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That's it. So yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
it's like you never know what he's going to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Um, Denise has a question here. Do they change their appearance when they come here?
Um, for the most part, when they come here, I don't see them. Um, they they do other things. Like what they've been doing this since like 2017 when I was in my apartment, and they would come and visit, and I'd be playing a video game on my PS4 or my Xbox, and they would bump the back of the couch, like
Mm-hmm.
like my couch was being bumped while I'm playing the game at certain points, and I wasn't sure what was going on. I eventually figured out that it was the Ponti were just dropping by to watch me, playing games, and they've been
Mm-hmm.
doing this for years. Like I'm so used to it now. It's like guaranteed every Friday night and every Saturday night I'll feel bumps in the back of the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they'll give me like a tap on the shoulder just to let me know that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's quite amazing. I mean, and sometimes like there's certain video games that they really enjoy me playing. Like The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2 is one big ones I've been like playing, which are kind of like zombie kind of like games, but
Mm-hmm.
they kind of find they like getting scared, and so they enjoy it watching those games. They also like watching me playing Spider-Man. They really like that game, which is no
Mm-hmm.
surprise because Radar actually has a Spider-Man costume in his closet. So
Interesting. And so you said they don't show up physically. Are they interdimensional when you feel their presence, or do they have some kind of cloaking device, or how would you
the
explain
time
that?
the times that I have interacted with them have been in interdimensional, and that has been uh, many times where like I'll be in bed, and then I'll be dropping into like an alpha theta state, which is kind of like between being asleep and being awake. So
Mm-hmm.
you're not dreaming, but you're in that
Mm-hmm.
altered dream state. And
Mm-hmm.
then I've had interactions with them. I mean, there was one time in my other condo, there was three Ponte girls who came one morning to visit, and I could hear all three of them. They walked, crawled up the ladder, and then I felt one of them was like lying behind me, and she was resting her hand on my shoulder, and I could feel her, the back of her neck, and I just started to cry. It was just an amazing feeling. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's another time where I was lying there in bed, and then I was in that same alpha theta state, and I couldn't see them, but I definitely heard them and could hear
Mm-hmm.
them telepathically talking. And there was five of them. They were resting their hands on me. So there was like two hands resting on my arm, uh, two hands resting on one leg, two resting on the other, and one of them was kind of brushing their hands like that on where my arm was, and I
Mm-hmm.
heard the leader say he's not quite asleep, and then I heard them walking around my bedroom really fast. It was like their feet were going. It sounded like rain hitting a tin roof. That's how
Mm-hmm.
fast they were moving around. It was really cool. And then I heard them. They moved something in the corner of my room. It was like I have a didgeridoo, and I heard that grinding across the walls. They were checking that out. But the other thing that I remember was the telepathic feeling that they were sharing with me. It was the emotion of oneness. It was an emotion that they were sharing with me that felt like you are family, and that's
Mm-hmm.
their emotions are very complex. It's hard to express the complexity of the emotions that they have shared with me of
Mm-hmm.
these deep feelings. So that feeling there was like you are family. But another time was it's a famous we call it the uh, Tea Party that took place in Arkansas when I went to a UFO conference, and they visited me at that conference. Do you want me to tell that story? It's pretty dark
Sure.
wild. It's wild.
Sure.
So
Sure.
it was the Ozark UFO conference, and I was in communication with Sue, and she was letting me know that the Ponte were definitely planning on showing up for this event, and I was hoping to be able to see the Ponte because I knew that there were boots on the ground and they were like checking the place out. But I never saw them or any ships while I was there at the UFO conference. But it was about 2 weeks after that event where all of a sudden I had this memory flash, and a friend of mine. She and I we stayed at this motel, and this motel had it had a bedroom on one side, but then it had a party room off to the other side, which had a couch and a love seat, and it was quite large. I slept on the couch in that room, but then I had this memory of radar jumping up and down on the couch at the end of where my feet was, yelling, "Get up, party time, party time, party time." And I'm like thinking, what is this memory? What's going on here? And so I contacted Sue Walker and told her what this memory was coming to me. And it was like I was texting on Twitter, and then Radar popped in and said, "Dude, yeah, we got together. Yeah, we partied. We laughed. Yeah, and yeah, you snorted tea out your nose. When do you want to do it again?" When he said, "snorted tea out your nose," all of a sudden, this whole download of this memory came flying at me. And then I remembered everything. They actually did come to visit me. And so that memory of Radar jumping up down the couch, that was just the beginning. And they allowed me to remember this. It was like, it was the most vivid thing ever happened to myself, where this whole, it was probably 5 minutes that I remember this whole thing, but the whole memory took place like in like half a second. But I remember all of the details. I remember what I was thinking, the telepathic, their voices, what their telepathic voices sounded like, how loud their voices were speaking in my head. I remembered it, everything like watching a movie. And so basically, I'm sitting on the couch, and across from me is Radar and Tilcom, their commander. You can see that's Tilcom. He was sitting next to him. Drudy on the bottom here, she was sitting on my right-hand side, and we're having a tea party. And so I remember Radar was telling a story about him being in the hangar bay, and he was working on his skipper ship, Delta Dawn, and he did something and screwed something up, and something was going to blow up, and he is running around the hangar bay looking for their mechanic Del. And then all of a sudden, no, actually, it wasn't Radar who was telling the story. It was Tilcom was telling this story. And Radar was just sitting there listening to it. And in the middle of Tilcom talking was a voice interrupted him. And it just said, "Brinkman." And it was a deep voice. And it sounded like Leonard Nimoy. It sounded like Spock. It's exactly how this voice sounded like. And now, the thing is that there was a Ponte, then there was somebody, one of the Ponte followers talked about one of the Pontes having a deep voice, and his name is Grayson. And so what I was thinking at that time was, when did Spock get into the room? Because with when I'm talking to you, you can tell from where my voice is coming from, because like we project our voice and you can hear it with your ears. Telepathy, you can't. It's like a voice in your head, so you don't know where the voice is coming from, right? So, but when he said Brinkman, that was a joke name that Grayson and I gave about Radar, because of Radar's brinkmanship. He's always doing stuff operating on the lines of dangerous. And so rather than just, brinkmanship became Brinkman, and that became a new nickname that Grayson and I came up for Radar. So when this voice interrupted Tilcom and it said Brinkman, I'm thinking, where did Spock get in the room? Because I was looking around. Then I started looking around, and I looked behind me, and there's Grayson leaning against the wall, and he looks at me to see if I recognize who he was. And I was taken back by such shock, and I had tea in my mouth, and I ended up snorting it out my nose all over in the direction of Radar. And talk about embarrassing. I mean, here are these extraterrestrials who have come 40 light years away, and how would I greet them? I snort tea all over them out my nose. And Radar immediately starts laughing, and he's like snorting himself off the couch, going like this, and he's falling off the couch laughing so hard. And I'm just totally just embarrassed, absolutely embarrassed. Drudy next to me is in shock. She doesn't know what to make of it. But then everybody just starts bursting out into laughter. And it was just crazy. Um, but then, like we were all just laughing so hard. And then I remember, like, when I was first talking to Radar, I remember seeing his big blue eyes because he didn't have his visors on, right? It was just his big blue
Hmm.
eyes, and when he was talking, like looking and talking to me. But now at this point, after I snorted tea out of my nose, he had his visors down. Okay. And when he's talking, like his voice, he sounds like Nicolas Cage. That's what his voice kind of sounds like. Um,
Hmm.
and and then he just looks at me and he says, "I've never seen one of you do that before. That's so
Hmm.
cool." And then everybody just lost it again because I didn't expect an answer like that from him. But like I was just totally taken back by his response. And then we're just laughing our asses off again. And then I'm looking at him after we got our composure, and I'm thinking, I can't let him have the last laugh. And I got my hands resting like this. And I just said, you know what? Well, you're the first ET that I've ever heard snort before. So I guess we're even. And then everybody just lost it again. And it was just complete mayhem. But the thing I was also going to bring out is that during this whole entire time that they were visiting, once again, they were sharing with me this feeling. It was a feeling of, they call it a hug of light, but it feels like conditional. It feels like unconditional love, deep friendship, and like being at the best party you've ever been, where you're just feeling so ecstatic. It's such an
Hmm.
amazing feeling. It's very complex feeling, but they call it a hug of light. And they were sharing this emotion with me the entire time that we were all feeling it. And that's what I
Amazing.
remember. It's
Hmm.
it's the communication, telepathy, the emotions that are shared are so deep and complex and more overpowering than you can ever imagine. And I never
Hmm.
wanted to leave it because it was just felt so good. It feels like, when you're dreaming and how good dreams feel, being in that, alpha
Yeah.
state. That's what it felt
Yep,
like
I
with
do.
them. It was just, I didn't
Hmm.
want to leave it. And I was so sad to wake up. But they allowed me to
Hmm.
remember this event. And apparently it was all recorded. And they sometimes go back and watch it and laugh their asses off at the whole thing. So it's,
That's really, really awesome. I was going to ask you because I've experienced something similar when I'm aboard the big ship, which is transdimensional contact, interdimensional contact, and they can share images and information mind to mind, but they can also do it heart to heart. So when it's this emotionally charged um, connection. Do you do you feel that it was heart to heart, or was that, do you think, strictly mind to mind?
oh, it was definitely heart to heart, like the emotion. But like I could
Hmm.
hear them talking to me telepathically, just like you hear my voice. But their
Yeah.
voices, from what I remember, were very loud in my head. And it was almost like it was like speaking from the back of my head towards the
Hmm.
front of my face. And
Hmm.
I remember Grayson sounds exactly like Spock. That's what his voice sounds like in that deep voice. Um, was it Woody Harrelson? I think people say that Radar has a voice similar to Woody Harrelson. I thought that, like,
Hmm.
from what I remembered, he kind of sounded like a cross between Nicolas Cage and Kevin Spacey. That's kind of what his voice
Mm.
reminded me of. So,
Interesting. So
and
they
people,
keep their individuality even when they're communicating.
oh yeah, their voices are very unique to themselves. They have their
Hmm.
own unique voices. I've heard, Tani, um, she wrote the Telepathy 101 primer. I heard her voice back, when was it? Um, just a couple of years ago. It was last year
Hmm.
actually, because they were working with me to help me to develop my telepathy to a higher level,
Hmm.
and they worked with me last summer, and I finally heard Tani's voice because, like, she told me that they were going to have teachers working with me from July until September, and eventually I would start to hear and see my neighbors telepathically, of seeing
Hmm.
through their eyes or hearing things telepathically, which did start to begin around the middle of August, where I was waking up at nighttime trying to go back to sleep, and then I'm starting to hear things telepathically, like somebody talking, or like I hear a drape is banging against an open window, you know, on my left side, but I don't have drapes in my room. It's I'm hearing this through somebody else's ears, or hearing somebody, you know, bounce a ball, or I'm starting to experience seeing through somebody else's eyes where they're like in a, you know, in a restaurant talking to a lady in an Asian, you know, in a red Asian lady in a red dress, and I was seeing all this stuff, and then I was keeping an eye on it, realizing, oh, this is really happening. I'm seeing and hearing through my neighbor's eyes, just like Denise said. And then there was one morning I heard Tani's voice, and she said, every morning and every evening, practice this. Heard her voice clearly. And I recognized her voice because her voice, everybody says she sounds like Judi Dench, the actress Judi Dench. And that's the voice that I heard, was Judi Dench. And so I went onto Twitter,
Interesting.
and I said, this is what happened this morning. I heard a voice in Judi Dench's voice say this. Was that Tani? And then one of the trainees came on and said, Kevin, we were placing bets when you'd be coming onto Twitter, letting us know that you heard her voice. And yeah, that was her. And you're working on your telepathy. And looks like one of your groupies, Les Estoritas, one of the girls, won the bet on which day you'd be contacting us. So they got their own little games going in the background. So
Wow, that's awesome. I just want to take a minute to recognize some of the people in the live chat. Of course, we've got Denise, who is my moderator. And thank you so much, Denise, for your very, very generous donation. Really, really appreciate it. Denise works tirelessly on every show I do. She shows up, she moderates, she reminds people where to find my guests. I'm just so grateful that Denise came to my channel and is here to help out. It's absolutely a godsend. I mean, when we're doing lives, we can only do so many things at once, paying attention to the guest, trying to keep on top of the live chat, but Denise makes it easy. And I just want to tell you, Denise, I love you so much and I appreciate you very much too. And I also want to just give a shout out to Rodney. Rodney's out there running errands, but he's stopping in here and there to participate in the show. I want to thank you for joining us as well. So, Denise says, I love you too. Isn't that awesome? I'm telling you, I am so grateful for this live chat, and I have developed a wonderful relationship with the other people. So thank you everybody so much. So Kevin, getting back to our ET friends, um, it's interesting. You hear a lot of horrible stories about people being abducted and stuff tucked up their bums, and how the so-called grays have no emotion and they're even kind of cruel. And then you get the other side of the spectrum for you and for me, where we not only found contact to be friendly, but also when we are with them or in contact with them, it's like going home. It's the most beautiful feeling that I've never experienced here on Earth. And it's my hope that through contact, that our non-human intelligent friends are going to share that in the near future with us. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could transform the whole world to be in that kind of light and love? That's so amazing. Have you heard why there is, or have you suspected why there's such a huge gulf of difference, and it seems to be one or the other, not too many middle of the road experiences? I've even found, since I published my book about my experiences, that it's not really well received because it doesn't follow the frightening narrative. Do you have any thoughts or theories on why, as humans, we're experiencing such completely different contact?
well, the majority of people that I know have had, you know, positive ET experiences. I don't really
Mm-hmm.
know a lot who have had negative ET experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Tilcom has talked about, you know, like we know that there's at least 7 different Zeta types who are visiting Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not all the same. You know, they're not all the same. Some are service to others, and are
Mm-hmm.
benevolent and are protectors here or guardians on this planet, like the Ponti. And then there are others who may be self-serving. I don't know much about the others because I haven't had many experiences talking to people who've had those negative experiences. I also know
Mm-hmm.
that there are Zetas which were basically kind of biolab grown here on the planet, and
Yes, yes.
they are more like the ones that people are describing, like robot-like,
Yeah,
non
containers.
containers, and
Yeah.
they make Tilcum very angry. And
Mm-hmm.
he says they're the ones who are giving us a bad reputation. And he
Mm-hmm.
says we are not the aliens; they are.
Mm-hmm.
No, those are his
Yeah,
words.
because the Pontiff been here, like you said, hundreds of thousands of years. So I mean,
Yes,
they're about as indigenous to Earth as you and I are. So
yes,
yeah, I would agree with your explanation completely.
yeah. Because like the majority of people who I've met have all had positive experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and I've learned a lot from Judy Carroll, from Susie Hansen, Jeff Silver. Um,
Yes, I
you
know,
know,
Jeff.
yeah. So you know, these are experiences people who I've been in contact with, and I've had many
Mm-hmm.
people on my show as well. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know a lot of people who have had negative ET experiences personally.
Yeah, I've never
I'm not saying they
actually.
don't happen. I'm just saying I
Yeah,
have not experienced it.
yeah, same for me. Same for me. So I time is quickly flipping by here, and I don't want to leave the show before we get to talk about your music. Kevin, what would you like to tell us about your music? Did you say you have a new album out?
I don't have a new album out, but I have released a few new songs. I did respond to you and send you. I sent you a music video of my
Oh,
one of my latest music videos. Did you did you
I
not?
didn't get it. Let me quickly look.
Maybe you'd be able to share. Are you able to share the? It's a YouTube link. Maybe you could play it.
I would love to. The problem is it didn't show up in my inbox. Let's
Okay,
see.
I responded to your email about the StreamYard. So,
Yeah, I got that.
and it was
Uh,
one of the responses, and I said, here's because you asked about music, and then I said, here's my latest music video.
yeah, all I got is that you were having trouble logging in, and then um yeah, that's all I got. I'm so sorry. Unless you want to send it to me right now, I would love to share it if possible.
Okay,
Are
you
you
want
able
to
to take a
hang on a
moment
line for
and
one second? I'll resend it to you.
oh
Hang on.
yeah, yeah, you can. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
No
I'm
problem.
just gonna log into my other PC here so I can send it to you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why I didn't get it, but I would love to share it. That would be awesome. So while Kevin is doing that, I'll just say hi to the people in the chat. We've got Vamp Skyder is also here today. And of course, we've got Denise here. And we have Rodney's here. Welcome. And do you folks have any questions for either Kevin or I while we're waiting for him to come back and um, and then hopefully I can screen share the video, which would be awesome. We just give it a couple of minutes. Yeah. So nothing like technology to have things go wrong at the last minute. Did you send it?
Yep.
Okay. Here it is. Showed up this time. I'm gonna click on it
The cool
and
the cool thing about
pause it.
this music video was actually done by Kashi Chris and my friend Marley, and it actually is an introduction to the Ponti. The whole music video, it's called Dragon's Blood, and it introduces who the Ponti are. Here, I love it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to click on share screen and think this would be it here. And share. Now you have to tell me if you can't hear it. Whoops. And go.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Can you see it and hear it both?
I can hear it. Yep.
Okay, so maybe in the chat you could let us know. So I'll just. Oh my gosh. I am speechless. Absolutely speechless. Wow. Oh my gosh. I am, and I want to apologize, Kevin, because I didn't figure out how to full screen it um, until we were halfway through the video, but that is incredible. Oh my God, that was so awesome. Everybody out there, please subscribe to Kevin and check out his music and do share that video with all your friends. It was so great. What I loved about it is you did such a great job of preserving their individual personalities.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's really important for people to realize that these are people. They look a little different. They certainly have a different culture, different background, different history, but they're definitely people. And I love the way you brought that out. But also the music absolutely gave me goosebumps all over. That was amazing.
that's that's tonal language that the Ponte have been teaching me.
Hmm.
That's how I write my music, is tonal language. So
Incredible. Incredible. I also want to say a quick shout out to Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago. Go ahead and check out from the playlist. There's an Aliens and Angels podcast playlist that I have on my YouTube channel, so you can all check that out. Vamp Skyder said, very cool. It was cool. Oh my God, Kevin, that was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. Do you think I'm going to get a copyright strike for it?
I hope not.
Yes,
Jeez.
I hope not.
Leave her alone. This is my song. It's my show.
I,
Jeez.
I I know, but every time I've had a musician on, either this show or the Quantum Guide show, and they're right on the show with me, right? And I upload the music, and then I get a copyright strike. And sometimes I have to do battle with YouTube for weeks to get the copyright strike removed. But you know what? This was so worth a copyright strike. I got to tell you, if I do, it's just fantastic. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. So where are you going from here? We got a few minutes left. Why don't you tell people if you have any kind of a message for humanity, or you just want to pat yourself on the back and share what you're up to and with your music and everything? This would be a really good time to do that now, Kevin.
Well, sure. Yeah, we're playing live around the Greater Toronto area. So Toronto, we play in Hamilton. We just played a show last night at the Doors Taco Joint here in Hamilton. Fantastic show. The crowd just was like so receptive and just freaking their brains out over our music. I was like just taken back. I wasn't expecting it. So it was really really awesome show last night. But I'm still writing some new music. There might be a new album in the works, that could possibly. Um, but as far as I'm continuing to do more radio interviews, as many as I can, because I feel that official first contact is going to happen in the next couple of years, probably
Mm-hmm.
within the next 2 years, I believe, the way things are going.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ponte need to get their message out, and that's why I'm here, is to do that, exactly what we're doing today. That
Mm-hmm.
they are not some kind of, I'm so tired of so much of the UFO community that all they're interested in is their UFO, their ship, and what kind of technology that is, and how we can get our hands on it. I mean, it's like all
Mm-hmm.
you care about is their car. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there are people. Ever think about the people? Aren't you interested in meeting the people? They are people. You realize that? Like,
I don't think they are, because those that are running things right now, I believe, this is just my opinion, but I believe they're psychopaths. They're absolute psychopaths. They've been inbred for generation after generation, trying to keep their bloodlines what they consider them pure. We all know what happens to people when they inbreed generation after generation for 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years. And
yeah,
then on top of that, they have their whole MK Ultra thing that they do so that they traumatize each of their own generations and force them to become psychopaths. This world really needs help. I can't stress that enough. I think the common people are trying to do everything we can. I applaud you for your work as an exopolitical ambassador, bridging between our worlds and the world of the Ponti. But seriously, we need help, because the people that are running things, they will just rape and pillage. That's all they've known for thousands of years, and that's what they're still doing today, but they're kind of trying to hide it from us and dummy us down. Sorry, I didn't mean to take away the conversation, but I just wanted to say, no, I don't think they do recognize that our extraterrestrial family are also people, real people with lives and families, and you've done such a beautiful job, Kevin, of illustrating that they have unique personalities. They're not that much different than us. I bet you we have more in common than we have differences. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't ramble on. I'll turn it back over to you, but absolutely, you're right on the money.
that's what this is all about. I don't understand why the public, are waiting to listen to, somebody in the mill or the government to tell them what this is all about, when we have, experiencers who've been on, doing interviews for years, thousands upon thousands of us, and it's like we're still being ignored. Like, why are you going to one person in the government for answers when we have had contact for years and we've been telling you, like, talk to us? It's just crazy, though, how they're trying to control the narrative, but it's going to fall apart on them
Absolutely.
anyway. They can't stop us because we're all a network now. We're a massive network, and we're connected. So, and that's the power of power of us. Plus, at the same time, we do have friends in higher places who have much more knowledge, who can see somewhat into the future, who are telepathically connected to, what the other side is doing, and so, who's in, and we know that the star nations are right-minded. We're dealing with humans who are they're self-centered for their own purpose of whatever it is that they want. Control and manipulation and total dominance of the world.
Absolutely. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says society abuses us from the beginning of our lives to create a need to be accepted. We are not good enough as we are. That has to change. We are all beautiful as we are. And I would agree with that. And also, I think the same is true of our ET brothers and sisters. Now, all the links are going to be in the description below. Do you want to tell people how to find you for those that are on an audio, listening to this on an audio? And I just want to quickly say, if you are listening to this on an audio, please do come around and enjoy the wonderful video that Kevin has put together. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. But before we go, I just want to give you a chance to tell people where to find you, Kevin.
Sure. Yeah, you can. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Pyramids on Mars. YouTube channel, to see all the videos that I put out. My website is easy to find. It's pyramidsonmars.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, or sorry, Facebook. Kevin Estrella. And I'm pretty easy to find out there. My website has links to where my music can be purchased, whether it's a CD or streaming. It's all, you can find Pyramids of Mars quite easily. I'm all over the place on digital media, but if you buy a CD, it actually goes to supporting the artist. We don't get paid for you listening to Spotify. I don't get paid, so please support artists.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I just want to do a quick shout out to Maya. Hi, Maya. Nice that you could join us. What I'm wondering, Kevin, is the show, we're pretty much out of time. How would you feel about me putting your video on again as a trailer after we say goodbye, so that people can see it again, and also
Yeah.
in full view, because I didn't have it in full view before, because
Absolutely. Please
I'm
do.
not the
Yeah.
techiest girl in town. So yeah, so I want to thank you, Kevin, for coming back on the show. I'd
Thank you.
love to have you back. I'd love to have you on with Sue, and I love having her on as a guest too. What I love about you guys is you're real people. You don't put on airs. You're not trying to say you're the grand poobah representing these nations. You're just ordinary people talking about your experiences with
Yeah.
other ordinary people who happen to be also from different worlds. And I just love
Yeah.
that so much.
Well, thank you for having
So,
me on.
my pleasure. And thank you to everyone in the live chat. For those of you who are watching this on the replay or on an audio podcast. And again, please do come on over and check out the video. It's exceptional. It's really worth the effort. And with all of that, I guess we'll say goodbye, and I'll relaunch the video as soon as I figure out how to do that. Okay, here we go.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Oops. That's the wrong video. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Hang on just a sec. Oh, let's try this. I'm so sorry. Here, I'm gonna get it right this time, I promise. Thank you for joining me for the Aliens and Angels podcast. Read about my true life ET contact in my book called Transdimensional Meet the New Neighbors, which is now available on Amazon worldwide. Subscribe to my YouTube, Rumble, and X channels at Karen Holton TV. The like button and leave me a comment. And please do share this podcast with your friends. Check out my website at www.karenholtonhealthcoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All of the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, you'll also find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.